Three, two, one, and go.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the In the Net podcast. The Premier League returns. Obviously, plenty to talk about this week with domestic football coming back, as well as the Super Cup last week. We actually did a podcast during the game and sort of thought we'd mention it a little bit at the start of the pod. So obviously Chelsea got the win on penalty shoot. What did you think of the match? You actually watched the match. I didn't. So over to you.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, thanks, Max, and congratulations for Bristol City's win. I guess you're really happy on the back of that. More on that later, but starting off with Chelsea and Villarreal. So I think Chelsea started off the better team, and to be fair, I think it was fair that they went 1-0 up. They probably could have had another goal in that first half, but second half, Villarreal came back. They decided to fight and got the equaliser. And to be fair, they did very, very well to get back into the game. So I think the one main talking point of it all is actually not what happened in 90 minutes, but what happened at the end of 120 minutes at extra time, where Edouard Mendy was substituted for Kepa. And we've seen this happen before in the World Cup with Tim Krul for Holland. And I think there's a bit of history repeating itself in that sense. But I think it was an inspired decision by Tuchel to swap the goalkeepers. And in the end, he did make the winning save and stopping Albiol from scoring that penalty. And they ended up winning 6-5. So credits where it's due to Tuchel. I mean, they didn't make it easy for themselves because, to be fair, I think they should have put the game to bed. But at the end of the day, I think winning Champions League and the Super Cup, they are now in a position where they've got a lot of confidence winning 2 titles with Tuchel, and they're probably going to go on and have a very good season.
Yeah. I mean, with regards to the penalty shootout and the substituting the goalie, I can remember just after Chelsea signed Mendy last season, they played a cup game. It would have been Carabao Cup, League Cup, and it went to penalties, and he was terrible. He didn't get near any of them. So I don't know whether, well, yeah, you'd imagine a manager like Tuchel notices things like that. So yeah, like you said, inspired in the end to sort of get that. But I mean, that isn't the big business of the week. The big business was in the Premier League on Saturday with some really good games, lots and lots of goals, and it was just wonderful watching Match of the Day and being able to hear that atmosphere in the stadiums again. I mean, I think if we start with the Friday night fixture, which was Brentford and Arsenal, I mean, I know all about Brentford. They just regularly beat Bristol City comfortably for the last 2 or 3 seasons without letting us barely touch the ball. So I always thought Brentford would do well in the Premier League, and I quite fancied them against Arsenal because we all know I don't really rate Arsenal or Arteta. So it was really pleasant seeing them win the way they did, and what an atmosphere it sounded like at the Brentford Community Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's great to see fans back in the stadium at full capacity as well. I mean, it was great seeing everyone at the Euros and all the fans getting behind the teams playing, but a full crowd, especially in all the matches this weekend, was amazing to see. And then it's even more amazing to see Brentford, first time in the Premier League, of course. A very small stadium, but a new stadium, and I think it must have been their first time having a full capacity crowd as well.
First time having fans in.
Yeah, which is amazing, and to have it against another team in London as well, made up for a special occasion. So talking about Brentford Arsenal, there's been a lot of tweets that I've been reading over Twitter. Obviously, mostly on the Arsenal side, and I'll be honest with you, I thought Brentford were the better team. Arsenal were, quite frankly, woeful, and that's no disrespect to both teams playing or the quality that was on the pitch, but I just can't understand how you have the likes of those players and spending how much money on Ben White? More
Yeah,
expensive than was it Raphael Varane? And
I know, especially when you look at Brentford centre back Ethan Pinnock, who I think they paid about £1 million for from Wimbledon, which is just, I mean, great signing. But yeah, I mean, that's not to say I don't think Ben White's going to be a good signing for Arsenal, but yeah, I think Arsenal are still screwed.
uh, I don't know. I think it's too early to say. It's one game into the season, but Brentford, I mean, they played exactly how they played in the Championship, and
Yep.
even so, like we can talk about Arsenal's quality, in in terms of their 11 compared to Brentford, but they didn't show it, and uh, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are probably thinking, how on earth has Granit Xhaka signed a new contract? From that
Yeah.
from last week's performance. But yeah, a lot of questions on Arteta. And let's see what happens here on. They've got a tough fixture list coming up as well. So I think personally it's going to go up to the North London derby, and if results don't go Arsenal's favour, Arteta's head might be at the axe. In
When is the North London derby, Hugh?
So I think it's in a few weeks. Let's have a quick look at Arsenal's fixtures. So Arsenal have Chelsea next. Oh, jeez. They have Chelsea. They then have City. They have Norwich, which you would expect them to win. And then if we scroll further down, um, it's got to be somewhat soon. Scrolling down this list, I thought it was in October, but I might be wrong. Let me have a quick look. But yeah, I mean, they've got City coming up as well. It's not an easy fixture, and yeah, 26th September.
26th, right? Yeah, so that's just probably about 5-6 weeks away. So yeah, Arteta could be under real pressure because
Yeah,
those opening fixtures are not easy. And although you say you'd expect them to beat Norwich, which is the logical thing, the way Norwich play isn't too dissimilar to Brentford in terms of
yeah,
they're always on the front foot. And I mean, Arsenal's weaknesses are in defence. So any team that really attacks them, I think this season they're going to find that they can really make the most of Arsenal's defensive frailties. Yeah, I think all through that team, I don't think they got leaders. They just. I don't want to turn this into an Arsenal podcast or anything, but
yeah.
yeah, I just don't think that they're going to be anywhere near the top six this season. I think 10th they'll finish.
I mean, their fixture list looks very, very worrying.
Mm.
I mean, Norwich aside, they've got Burnley after that, and then yeah, then it's the big one, and I think Arteta really needs to get results in.
Yeah, he might be in the firing line by then. So obviously that was the Friday game. The first game on the Saturday, you're going to enjoy talking about this one, Hugh, was Man United against Leeds. And I have to say, I thought United would edge the game. They ended up going ahead, and then obviously early in the second half, Leeds did equalise, but they went on to win 5-1. And I found I seen a tweet that made me laugh, and it was Man United beat Leeds 6-1 last year, no progress under Solskjaer, and it just made me laugh. It was
Oh,
just a nice bit of football fan humour. But yeah, a really good strong start. And how incredible was Paul Pogba?
yeah, I mean, 4 assists in one match, unbelievable. The one thing that I will say is that this result is probably a bit of a freak result. I think Man United played very, very well. Leeds did play poorly, but I don't think this result is
Missing
gonna.
Phillips.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips is a big loss for them.
Mhm.
Luke Ayling's goal was pretty good as well. It was something
Yeah,
special.
it was.
Are we going to
Ex
start talking
Bristol
about?
City.
Yeah, are we going to start turning this into a Bristol City podcast, past and present?
Actually, ex Bristol City and ex Arsenal. So
Yeah,
yeah, ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought that was a great goal, and then
Yeah, it
after
was.
that, Bruno
Oh,
Fernandes and Pogba turned up, and the rest
yeah.
is pretty much history. Uh,
How good a finisher is Mason Greenwood as well?
well, yeah, I think it was unfortunate that he didn't make the Euro squad. I think
Mm,
he did pull out due to injury, and I mean, he'll get further chances for England, for sure. But I think this is probably his going to be his breakthrough season. Everyone's been talking about Mason Greenwood past 2 seasons. I think this is where, especially with the quality that they have, if you get Paul Pogba playing like that was literally like the France and Juve Paul Pogba playing on Saturday. If you keep Bruno Fernandes fit and performing well, and then you add to that the fact that you've got Sancho coming in and Varane coming in, that is some mighty squad. And I think the likes of Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood would definitely benefit from that. So I think there's plenty more to come from United. And I think
yeah, definitely.
honestly, I think it was a masterclass in terms of stroke of genius of announcing Varane to the fans just before kickoff, because seeing that, unveiling his shirt number, him walking around Old Trafford, that is going to spur on the fans, and I think that got
I
them
don't
going.
I
I
don't
mean,
think it would have spurred on Lindelof though.
well, yeah, obviously there's going to be some friction within the squad, with places up for
But they're
grabs.
professionals, aren't they?
Well, you'd hope so. But football's a very interesting game, and you have a lot of interesting characters. I'd be surprised if Lindelof takes that the wrong way. As I said, 11 spots on the pitch, and I think with signings like Varane, um, you're not comfortable. Every position
No.
is available. I know Leeds fans were chanting, "What the hell was that?" when Varane was being announced, but I think after 5-1, um,
Yeah.
Varane hasn't even set foot on the pitch in the starting lineup. There's still a lot to come, and I think Ollie's got a lot to prove as well. This could be a crucial season for him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think now there's sort of no real hiding places because I think if you're being fussy, you'd maybe want another top centre midfielder. But I think with the players that they've got, they should be able to have a sustained challenge now and sort of really be in the mix come the end of the season. And I hope they are because I really like what Ollie's doing, um, and I really like their recruitment. I think they've done really well. The next game I wanted to mention was former manager of Liverpool, your team, Hugh. His first game in charge of none other than Everton. Didn't get off
Rafa.
to the best start with Armstrong scoring on his debut for Southampton. A really nice finish, actually. And I think Everton actually got booed off at halftime. So it was all going very well for Benitez. But in the second half, they really upped their game and they took Southampton apart and ended up winning 3-1. Your thoughts?
So yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up more or less. Going 1-0 down, I think Armstrong has already proven with a debut goal that Danny Ings, whilst he was a crucial player to Southampton last season, there is a new man in place up top, and he's made an instant impact. And Benitez is always going to have this problem at Everton, being a former Liverpool manager. I think he has to prove a point, and he has to make sure that results go in his favour, because being a former Liverpool manager, going across Stanley Park to manage Everton, the fans are always going to be on your case from day one. I think Everton responded after that goal very, very strongly, and I think it shows Benitez's character, and it also shows that he has some experience in the game in terms of knowing when to respond, how to respond, and ultimately getting results. We've seen it with his titles in terms of the Champions League and FA Cup with Liverpool. Yes, I need to stop that. Honestly, this is not a Liverpool podcast, and the way that he made basically um, managed that Newcastle squad with very very little resources. He's got a proven record in the Premier League, and I think all in all, shaky start, but he got there in the end and got 3 points, and I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, and they played really well in the second half and really put Southampton to the sword, punished them with players like Decore getting on the score sheet. Um, Sorry, just looking at the fixtures here. Chelsea. They obviously got off to a good start with a really strong 3-0 win against Palace. And we spoke about Palace in the last episode, saying it could go one of two ways. Very early to judge, but it wasn't the best start for Vieira, but a very good start to the season for Chelsea without the imminent arrival in the starting 11 of Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean, I think 3-0 is a flattering result for Chelsea. I think, as I said earlier on, Super Cup win is going to spur them on, and it's a very good start to the season, and it's given them the much needed confidence, especially winning Champions League, win Super Cup, and then coming into Stamford Bridge back with the fans. Claiming that they're the champions of Europe, of course, and for every right, they definitely deserve to call themselves champions of Europe. Um, but yeah, I think this basically highlights the job that Patrick Vieira has as Crystal Palace manager, and I think they do need to bring in some reinforcements. I think I said it in the last podcast episode. Getting rid of 10 senior players or 9 or 10 senior players. Can't remember how many it was, but
Yeah.
you need to replace them somehow. And I think this result kind of shows that he's got a massive job at hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything else to add, because I think it's probably worth moving on to Brendan Rodgers
Yeah,
against
no.
Wolves, 1-0 victory. Not the best
Yeah,
start for
good
Bruno
stuff.
Lage.
No, it won. I really fancied Leicester to win that, and Jamie Vardy scores a goal. Fans back in the stadium, and what's the first thing he does? Go and wind up the opposition fans because he scored by howling like a wolf in front of them, which I thought was just classic Jamie Vardy. But yeah, really good opening day for Leicester. Hopefully they have another positive campaign. They've recruited well again. The players they've bought in looking like they're going to be decent acquisitions from what we've seen so far. And as you say, not the best start for Bruno Lage, but it's a long season yet. And it's just sort that one just sort of went the way where you'd thought it would, which sometimes games on the opening day do. So have to see how it goes longer term for the new Wolves manager. Good to see Raul Jimenez starting the game again, though.
Yeah, definitely. After that horrific injury, it's really
Yeah,
nice to see he's back, because I know Ryan Mason had a fairly similar injury back for when he was playing at Hull, and unfortunately he wasn't able to continue playing. But it's really great to see the likes of Raul Jimenez having such a bad injury, but being able to recover from it and finally getting back onto the pitch. Um, he was badly missed by Wolves as well after his injury, and the goals that he brings, especially in the previous seasons, yeah, it's definitely going to be much required this season as well for Wolves.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's that one covered. Um, I mean, we won't go into detail on every game. Liverpool Norwich, you were actually in the stands of that game. You can tell
Uh,
us firsthand.
Actually, I didn't manage to go to Norwich. I'll be at Burnley and Chelsea for
Oh,
next
you
week.
didn't go.
I didn't go in the end, so I said that I might consider going. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out, which is a bit unfortunate given the result. I wanted to not take back, go back to one of your previous comments about Brentford playing the way that they did against Arsenal. Now, I think Daniel Farke is very stubborn in some ways, but he's very methodical in his approach of football, in the sense that there is only one way that Norwich set out to play. Um, and they do play very entertaining football, as we saw last season in the Championship. However, I think this was a bit of a learning lesson. Um, you can't simply continue playing that way, especially against top teams. And I think, especially when you have the likes of Mo Salah, um, and even Diogo Jota, who really just didn't have that many chances. I think he had only one chance in the first half, and that was due to a miscontrol from Salah, which allowed him to get the ball and score.
Yeah,
Like any mistakes that you make in the Premier League is going to eventually punish you, and I think it was a harsh lesson to learn for Norwich, but hopefully they will take that away and come back, and hopefully this result won't basically dampen their spirits and they can continue
Yeah.
with what they were doing last season and bringing it to the Premier League. I mean, I say that, and then they've got Man City next, so
Yeah.
it's a tough start to their return into the Premier League. But hopefully,
Yeah, but it gets those 2 games out the way, doesn't it? And I mean, in terms of Liverpool, I thought they looked really dangerous again. And obviously a massive boost having Van Dijk back
yeah,
in defence.
100%.
And I don't know, it was funny. I watched a match then and I just thought, yeah, Liverpool are back. They're gonna be very good again this season. And obviously Jota started, scored. Firmino came on for Jota and scored. What a wonderful selection headache for Klopp to have. And I mean, I've got full faith that he'll manage it well and get the best out of the players he's got available, because that's what he does consistently.
I mean,
So yeah, I think Liverpool are in for a good season.
the one thing that I will say is that there's a lot of question marks over the squad depth of Liverpool, especially after what happened last season.
Yeah.
It's really good to see Virgil van Dijk back as a Liverpool fan, and Jordan Henderson's still to come back. Joe Gomez didn't play. Konate,
And
the summer signing.
and a certain wonder kid come off the bench for the last 10 minutes, which was nice to see.
Harvey Elliott. Yeah. And
I watched him twice last season against City, and he's a special player.
he does give me a bit of a Coutinho vibe in the way that he cuts in.
He's
and
marvelous, mate.
very, very technical
He's
player.
got that really nice low center of gravity. Like, not saying he's going to get anywhere near his level, but like Messi, he's got that nice low center of gravity, and he can sort of jink between players. He's a lovely player, real nice player to watch.
Okay, that's a bit far fetched. I mean,
hey, I said he's not going to be anywhere near as good as him, but he's got that about him.
I mean, fair enough. What I will say is that it's really, really refreshing to see young talent as well. We've seen the likes of Jadon Sancho break through, albeit in the Bundesliga. Jude Bellingham the same, but Mason Greenwood, Rashford in the past for United, Foden for City, Trent for Liverpool as well. It's really nice to see players at the top of their game. Mason Mount as well, given chances.
Yeah, no, really, really, really good start to the season for Liverpool, and like you say, nice to see the young players getting a run out. Not a lot to say about the Burnley Brighton game. It's a good win for Brighton. Alexis McAllister come on and really caused problems for Burnley in that sort of number 10 role, and ended up getting the winner. I got a bit of a soft spot for Brighton because ex-Bristol City Adam Webster. But yeah, it was a good solid start to the season for them. And Graham Potter's got his hipster beard, and he was looking the part on the touchline, but a really good solid start. And Burnley just same squad every season, it seems like.
I think they need to freshen something up, because I think the warning signs are already there. I mean, towards the end of last season, and also Turf Moor used to be a horrendous place for any opposition side to go to, and the worst thing that they could possibly start off with is a defeat on the first game of the season at home. Sean Dyche's got a lot to think about. There's still time to bring a few players in. They may only need one or two given their past experiences, but a lot of thinking to do, and I think fair play to Brighton for getting the result.
Yeah, for sure. Over now to Vicarage Road. We were singing Villa's praises last week in terms of their recruitment. I'm not panicking. I still think over the 38 game season, they'll do us proud. However, great start to the season for Watford, and I think, was it Chucho or Cucho, who scored their, hang on, I've got the fixtures here. He scored their third goal with a lovely strike. He actually joined Watford in 2017 and has been out on loan ever since. So that must have been quite satisfying for him. And yeah, great opening day to the season. Hopefully Villa will sort of gel a bit over the coming weeks and start showing what they're will have. But yeah, it was nice to see Watford getting a win on opening day.
I mean, who saw that coming? I personally didn't, and I think it just goes to show that the Premier League new boys or old boys or whatever you want to call
Turning
Watford,
boys.
yeah, returning boys. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm quite. First of all, I'm quite happy to see Ismaila Sarr back in the Premier League because
Me too, man.
I don't think he was a Championship level player. He's definitely Premier League quality, and I think if he played as well as he did 2 seasons ago, a top club will come looking for him. And yeah, he was on the score sheet, but I think, as I said, who saw that coming? I think Villa was surprised as well, and after the season they had last season, I was shocked to see that they went 1-2-3-0 down. Danny Ings did get a debut goal. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that. So one of the signings that we did.
Fantasy League captain.
Yeah. So yeah, I stupidly had Sarr on the bench. But
Oh no.
let's not talk about that. I captained Fernandez last weekend, so happy days for me.
Smart ass.
Okay, yeah, okay, sorry. I didn't even break 100 points, so I don't even know why I put that
Oh
in there.
wow, you must have had a stinker with the rest of the players. Then.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But yeah, I think Watford did surprise me, but I still think Aston Villa will probably reassess and probably it's probably a wake up call for them. So
Yeah,
Premier League new boys aren't going to be a pushover, and they've got a lot of gelling in to do and getting that team chemistry back up and running. And the question is, are these signings going to replace Grealish?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I still think they'll come good with the signings. I really do. So that's Saturday wrapped up. On the Sunday, the first game was the much maligned Steve Bruce. His Newcastle side starting very well in the first half. Obviously, that I had it on in the radio in the van, and at 2-1, St James's Park was absolutely rocking. It sounded like they were playing really well. It went 2-2, and I thought, oh no, I hope Newcastle don't lose this. And I actually nipped into the shop with my lad, and I said, "Oh, I hope Newcastle don't throw this away." And then we got back in the van, and it was 4-2. So yeah, it was a very good start for David Moyes' West Ham. But yeah, gutted for Newcastle. What do you reckon, Hugh?
So I think Newcastle started off very, very well. Let's not forget that. And yeah, I don't know what exactly happened. The VAR call. I think that was the first time I've seen VAR being implemented somewhat correctly in the Premier League, and good to know that